Something that Edexcel has not directly tested on is the potential problems that Elizabeth faced in 1558. One of them was her legitimacy, this idea that she was the second child of Henry VIII and from his second marriage to Anne Boleyn. Many Catholics believe the divorce to Catherine of Aragon didn't actually stand because it hadn't been approved by the Pope. Therefore, they believe that Elizabeth was a bastard child. Also, Henry VIII had, just before his death, refused to say that Elizabeth could be queen, removing her from the line of succession. Another problem Elizabeth faced was this idea of marriage. Her Privy Council were desperate for her to marry because it was seen as wrong for a queen not to have children. Because if a queen did not have children, then she could not have no heirs, and who would be the next king of England? Also, Elizabeth didn't want to marry because she saw it as a problem for her power. If she married Philip II, who proposed to her, then he would have more power over her, so she wouldn't really be queen. She wanted to rule in her own right. Both of the previous 2 points show the problem for Elizabeth of her gender. You've got to remember, in 1500s England, they didn't live in the progressive society we do today. They did not believe that a woman could rule because they were seen as weak and too emotional to make big decisions. It was seen as not possible for somebody like Elizabeth to rule over the army and give out instructions to men. In the social hierarchy, even as royalty, Elizabeth was seen as inferior for being a woman. Another major problem was that problem of religion. Elizabeth was a Protestant ruling over a country that was majority Catholic. Most people in England were Catholic, as well as the majority of Europe being Catholic. So a lot of people in England didn't like having a Protestant queen. And this came down to the fact the Tudor dynasty had completely flip-flopped with religion. Henry VIII had broke from Rome in order to get a divorce. Mary's brother, Edward, when he was in charge, had been a strict Protestant. And her sister Elizabeth, when she took the throne, was a Catholic, married Philip II, and was known as Bloody Mary for killing 300 Protestants. The country was in religious turmoil. This problem of religion led to foreign threats because countries such as France and Spain wanted to invade England potentially to put a Catholic on the throne. The French, in particular, supported Mary, Queen of Scots, who was Elizabeth's cousin, becoming queen because she was Catholic. Philip II proposed to Elizabeth and she refused his hand in marriage. He had previously been king when he was married to Mary I, Elizabeth's sister, so he wanted to get his hands back on England. And then we have the Pope in Rome. He was setting up counter-reformations that wanted to get rid of Protestantism within England. And then the final problem was economic problems. Elizabeth had inherited a foreign war with the French from her sister Mary I. The country was £300,000 in debt, about how much money England made each year, and they were 100,000 in debt to foreign investors. This was a major problem for Elizabeth because she would have to put up taxes, but it was a time of poverty where people didn't have money in their pocket to give taxation, so people would be angry for rises in taxes.